Welcome back to Bellevue Bound. I'm your host, Trey Jackson, and today we're taking this conversation to thrilling new heights. I'm joined here with Austin Cox. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Trey.
So tell me a little bit about you and what company you're representing today.
Sure. So I am the owner of Northwest Paragliding School. We are located at Tiger Mountain, just a quick drive, 10-minute drive from Bellevue. We are a full-stop shops paragliding school. We offer everything from beginner training to advanced training and intro tandem flights and everything paragliding related, gear, training, safety. We do it all.
So tell us, how did you get into paragliding?
Well, I was hiking at Tiger Mountain, actually, and I saw people flying and realized that looked like something that I could do and wanted to do. Started taking lessons, and it's a sport that really kind of draws you in. So all my attention, focus, time got spent learning how to paraglide, wanting to get better, wanting to fly off bigger mountains, and it just really sucked me in and changed the course of my life. So
that's incredible. Okay, so were you always a bit of a thrill seeker, always a bit sporty, or?
I grew up playing sports, but didn't spend a ton of time doing adventure sports or extreme sports. So this was kind of my first step into that world.
Very cool. Okay, so what inspired you to turn that kind of passion you have for it into a business so you could bring others into it?
So I started competing in World Cups about 6 years ago. Started doing well in those competitions and realized that I had a lot of knowledge and skills and experience that I could share with people. And I was working as an engineer at the time, and paragliding was a hobby. And once I realized I have all this experience to kind of share, I decided to take a leap and make it a career and start helping people be safer, better pilots, and grow the sport here in the Northwest.
That's really incredible to be able to turn your passion into your main profession. Not a lot of people get to do that, so that is awesome. And I really wanted to ask, could you just explain a little bit more about the World Cup and the paragliding world? Because a lot of people will just kind of see it as a casual thing people do up in the distance when they're driving along in Issaquah, but what's the real world of paragliding look like?
So, great question. We're still a very niche sport. I've had a lot of friends from the old climbing days tell me that paragliding reminds them of what climbing was 40 years ago, before there was indoor gyms. It was just...
I was climbing's everywhere. I was my building has a rock climbing wall inside of it. I tried it. Not my thing. The calluses is too much.
Yeah, not my thing either. But, before the indoor climbing gym, climbing was started by a bunch of people going out and just climbing rocks with ropes attached to them. And
okay.
It wasn't mainstream. No one really knew about what these guys were doing. And that's exactly what paragliding is right now. We'll do big record-breaking flights, and no one really knows or cares or knows what's going on, which is part of the purity of why I love the sport. We're just so niche that the only people doing it, flying in the World Cups, pushing the bounds of the sport right now, are doing it for the pure love of the sport. There's no money, outside sponsorship at the highest levels, so it's remained very pure, which is something that I love.
I say that sounds incredible. We're actually going to take a little peek at some of those thrilling stunts that they do at those cups. All right, so I wanted to circle back on something. You said you saw, you're on a hike and you saw people paragliding, you're instantly attracted to it. There's a lot of people who would see that and be that is terrifying. My co-host, Megan Adams, was I cannot believe you're going to go jump off a mountain when she heard I was going to do it. So for someone who's a first-timer, what would you say to them to kind of tell them that, hey, this is actually really incredible and an experience everyone should try?
Yeah, I think it's very natural to be nervous when we're flying in the air. It's something that humans aren't really designed to be doing. So your brain's screaming at you, this is wrong. But I'd say 99% of the people I take for a tandem flight that are apprehensive at first, the minute we get into the air, they're instantly relaxed. There's no big drop in your stomach like skydiving. There's no huge adrenaline rush. You take a few steps, you're airborne, you're floating around in an armchair in the sky. It's very relaxing.
Like a lazy boy.
Like a lazy boy in the sky. And majority of people calm down as soon as we're in the air. So it's really just that initial feeling of, okay, I got to do this. Once I get in the air, it's going to be totally fine.
Absolutely. I was going to say, as someone who does have a slight fear of heights, if you guys may not have already guessed, I did go on this jump and I did go paragliding. It was incredible. I was actually not really scared at all once we got up there. I just got like that thrill for being like, I just want to be out there. Like, let's go. We're actually going to go take a look at that adventure in just a sec. But I wanted to say, I do agree that it's an experience everyone should try. I have told every single person I've ran into since about it and how they need to go out and check you guys out and go on a tandem flight like immediately.
Awesome.
My mom was like, I'm glad you didn't tell me you were going to do that because I would have been calling you out every second. But let's go ahead and go take a look at me jumping off Tiger Mountain.
Cool. Do you remember your job?
2 steps forward, you're going to come behind me. Then we are going to leg it, and then I'm going to fly
Take a half step to your right for now. One more half step to your right. The wind's going to make it so we don't have to run as fast.
Sounds good.
Hi! Alright, this feels good. You ready, Trey? 2 big steps forward. Run. Let's run now. Run.
Go Trey!
Nice job. Take the camera from ya. You get into your car.
All right. So we've kind of already touched on this a little bit, but people have said flying, paragliding is kind of like a life-changing experience, and you being able to take so many new people on these first-time runs, like, what are some of the things people have, like, left feeling?
I think one of the most common feelings people talk to me about is kind of a toned-down version of that effect when astronauts go to space and they look back down on the Earth. It changes their perspective about their day-to-day problems. And when we get to fly people, they get to see the world in a different perspective that they're not used to seeing. And from a first-hand experience, I used to get frustrated with traffic. Now that I paraglide, I get this different perspective, and I don't really get frustrated at smaller problems that are back down on the surface anymore.
Oh, really?
And so, yeah, I think it really helps people put things into perspective of, there's a lot more to life than traffic, these little menial problems that might be affecting you in some certain way, and it helps people kind of enjoy the earth, nature, where we're living, society, and helps people kind of appreciate that from a different perspective. So
I absolutely could see that. The views from Tiger Mountain are insane. And then once you actually get up into the air, the views you get of like Mount Rainier, the cities, the lakes, the trees, as you mentioned, traffic, the little people walking by, like it is just breathtaking. And if you guys are enjoying this conversation, don't forget to like and subscribe to Bellevue Bound. Now, one of the things you mentioned at the start of this, it was one of your pillars, is safe risk. Mm-hmm. When you're kind of balancing like the thrill and the adrenaline of doing some like flying in the sky, how do you balance that with safety standards?
So safety is our number one pillar at Northwest Paragliding. And I truly believe that the risk of paragliding can be managed very well. And so that includes getting the right training, flying the right equipment, and flying in the right conditions. So if you're flying in safe conditions on good equipment with good training, I really believe it's as safe as driving down the highway.
Oh, really? Okay, we'd love to hear that. If you guys want to learn a little bit more about their safety standards, check the link below in the description. And we're also going to take a little peek at some of the B-roll in those safety.
It's going to go on like a backpack. You're going to notice me checking these multiple times throughout the process. I don't think I forgot. That's just part of our redundant systems. Excited?
I'm very excited, yes.
Blast. You're going to pull down till it's tight but comfortable. How's that feel? Feel like you can run?
Yep.
Cool. And one last strap. Ready for it if it does. Big steps forward. And as the wing's coming up, you're going to feel a tug, and you're just going to resist that tug.
Okay.
If we happen to come off the ground a little bit first, keep your legs beneath you. That way, you can. If we touch back down, you can keep powering us off.
Okay.
We're not going to jump. We're just going to run until we're airborne.
Okay, so it's a run or step?
Run, stepping, and then running.
Okay, gotcha. And what does training someone from the ground up look like to become kind of certified, as you mentioned?
Sure. So our training program at the end of our training program, you get what's called a P2 license from the United States Hang Gliding and Paragliding Association. That basic license allows you to fly unsupervised at majority of sites in the United States.
Oh, wow.
Our curriculum is very structured. You do a minimum of 3 tandem flights. And then we do a lot of ground handling. So that's where we take our students to a park with some wind, teach them how to control the glider on the flat ground with very little risk before we take them up to the mountain. Then they work on getting their 32 flights to get certified for their license. And there's a written test at the very end, which includes all sorts of topics like weather, emergency procedures, airspace requirements, things like that.
Yeah, I think that is incredible. When you got certified or in the process of it, and you were going on your first solo flight, how did that feel?
Incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, it changed the course of my life, right? I took that first flight. I was like, this is something I'm going to do all the time. And then I started doing it all the time. And eventually, 9 years later, it's a career. So it really, really did change the course of my life. Like, it was just, I immedially thought this is what I want to do for the majority of my time.
Well, that's beautiful to hear, because I mean, it's definitely a little different than taking the training wheels off the old bicycle. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, with Bellevue kind of being a pretty fast-paced, tech-forward kind of city, with people kind of always on the go, and then you kind of had this like hidden oasis of like Tiger Mountain and the paragliding just outside the city limits. How do you think that kind of like fits together?
Honestly, I think it's a really great like symbiosis, because we get to really progress in paragliding. It requires time and money, which is a lot of people have time and not a lot of money. A lot of people have money and not a lot of time. I think
like that.
People in Bellevue, we have this big tech industry where people can make a decent living. And they also get good quality of work-life balance. And so we have a very big market here in Bellevue. It's a kind of perfect opportunity for tech workers to have a nice, fun hobby that they can enjoy that's right at their doorstep. And just given the location that we're at, too, it's such a consistent site to fly at that it really is conducive for people that, might have a little bit busier schedule, might have one day a week they can come out, but chances are it's going to be flyable that day during the week. So.
Oh, that's incredible. And I think that kind of touches on what you said earlier about like Tiger Mountain's conditions just being like preferable for these kind of flights with a longer season than usual.
Yeah. Yeah, we get extremely consistent weather at Tiger Mountain during the summer. So we get this nice hot flow of air coming up Tiger Mountain, which allows us to fly for 3, 4, 5 hours pretty much almost every day in the summer, which is very unique compared to other flying sites in the United States. In general, at a normal flying site, you might look at 3 days a week, 4 days a week where the conditions are nice. Tiger Mountain's 99% of the time between May and October, it's nice conditions.
That's incredible. So, like, tell us a little bit more about like the other locations that you've flown.
I've been lucky enough to fly all around the world.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah.
In competitions, I've traveled to, like, in the last 12 months, I've been to Colombia, Brazil, South Africa, India, Thailand, and Indonesia to fly.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's quite the list. I'm very jealous.
So in the off season, our company runs tours. So I do a tour to Thailand, India, France, and Indonesia, Bali every year. So I get to go to those 4 places once a year. But in terms of favorite places to fly, Tiger Mountain is near the top of the list.
Oh, wow, okay. So it's
Just
that good condition.
because of those consistent flying conditions that I was talking about, and also the views. You know, you can't beat the clear Pacific Northwest air. We always have blue skies. You know, when we go out east of the Cascades, we tend to get a lot of forest fire smoke, which we're lucky enough to not have to deal with that too much on Western Washington.
Yeah.
So crystal clear views. You could see the Puget Sound, the Olympics, Mount Baker, Mount Rainier, downtown Bellevue, downtown Seattle, all in one flight. You know, you can just turn your head and there's something new to look at.
Incredible. It's that kind of mixture you mentioned earlier of like that urban and natural. So it's like you get the best of both worlds almost.
100%.
And if you guys want to learn more about those international flight packages and experiences, please check the link below. So why do you think it's important for, you know, people and especially kind of adults to really like connect with outdoor adventure?
Yeah, I think in this modern day, a lot of us are on screens quite a lot for our jobs. Yep, all the time. And I think, you know, being out in nature is part of our DNA as humans. And for me personally, like going on a hike, being surrounded by silence with some birds and some bird sounds and a waterfall, that helps me reset and be more energized for kind of my day-to-day life and society. Paragliding is just another way for me to be able to accomplish that. And yeah, I think it's really important for everybody to spend a little bit of time outside for that kind of reset and grounding effect.
Absolutely. And kind of calls back to what you said earlier, you know, when you're up in the sky, it kind of puts things in perspective. You know, sometimes that email you forgot to respond to is not that serious. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yep.
Just for those of us who might not know, what is like the requirements for paragliding? Like if you wanted to just go out after work, do you need to schedule a time? Is it just like free agency to send off for?
Well, if you're going for a tandem flight with us, you know, you need to schedule that online. But if you're a certified pilot and just want to go flying on your own, you know, Tiger Mountain's public. You can hike up and go fly off. We also run a shuttle for people that don't want to hike. So.
The hike is brutal, y'all. The hike is brutal. Take the shuttle.
But there's really no requirement. It's a public park. There's no fee to go flying there if you're flying on your own. So it's as much of a free sport as it can be.
Oh, that's incredible. Yeah. And if you guys are interested in scheduling a tandem flight, please check the link below to schedule that. So inclusivity is a pretty big ethos for the city of Bellevue. How would you say like paragliding is inclusive?
We do our best to include anyone and everyone from all walks of background to join the sport of paragliding. One of the coolest things I think about the sport is we have one of the most diverse populations that I've seen. You know, I've taught somebody that lives in a van full time. And I've taught somebody that has founded a multi-billion-dollar tech company.
Oh, wow. Okay,
and all walks in between, you know, all different backgrounds, races, ethnicities. You'll find it all in paragliding, which is something I love, especially me personally growing up. I grew up overseas, and so I grew up in a very diverse background, so that's really important to me myself.
That's incredible. And you mentioned that like paragliding is pretty much like global at this point. So it's a global sport that brings in like global attention.
Oh yeah.
And before we're gonna circle back to inclusivity, but do you know where paragliding originated?
In France.
Oh, okay. Oh, so that's why
yeah, that's why there's a lot of paragliders.
Can't throw a stone without hitting the paraglider.
Exactly.
Or I guess maybe throw a big head. So could you tell us a little bit about some of like the programs that are within like the paragliding community that helps bring in new members or kind of helps increase that inclusivity?
Sure. One project that we recently got involved in that I'm very passionate about right now is called Project Paratrooper. Project Paratrooper is a nonprofit organization that fundraises to help veterans get involved in adventure sports.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So they raise money. Veterans can apply for a grant through them to learn how to paraglide, go for a tandem flight, and even get trained all the way up to becoming a tandem pilot, potentially making it a career for them. So,
that's incredible. That's a great way to give back to the community who really deserve it.
100%. They're kind of piloting the program here at Tiger Mountain, so we're excited to help them out with that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad that's happening. I can't wait to see the first recipient, I guess, go in the first flight.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
What kind of made this region, like Tiger Mountain, Issaquah, Bellevue, an ideal spot to kind of set up your business?
I'd say all the weather kind of micrometeorology I talked about of the consistency of flying at Tiger Mountain is one of the huge parts to why we set up here. The other one is the market, in terms of students, and we Bellevue, Seattle, Redmond, the whole area is full of people that love the outdoors, people that are looking for adventure, and people looking for new hobbies and something fun to get into. So it's really a combination of those two. It's a amazing paragliding site in general, just with the weather, and then we have a huge community of amazing people that I think could benefit from learning a new sport like paragliding and that are interested in something like that.
No, that's honestly like really cool to hear. And I remember on our flight, you kind of mentioned a little bit about like your staff. And they all seem to have like very colorful different backgrounds, and they all kind of do different things within the paragliding community.
I have a tandem pilot, Steve, who's been flying for longer than I've been alive.
Nice.
On the flip side to that, my lead instructor, Luke, he's 25 now, and he started with us 4.5 years ago. So 21 years old, learned how to paraglide and said, I want to make this a career, and he's very passionate. And I also have a world-class acrobatics pilot, Forrest, who's on our team.
Oh, okay. What is acrobatics in paragliding world?
Acrobatics is doing tricks with your glider. So jump roping it, spinning it. There's competitions.
Do you say jump roping?
Yeah, so the glider's going fully around you. It's called an infinity tumble.
So for you first timers, maybe you won't be doing that on your first try, but if you're interested in getting certified and really exploring that, check the link below. So from your perspective, how do you think like Bellevue has evolved as a city for like adventure seekers, and how do you think paragliding has kind of influenced that?
Well, I've been living. Now I live in Issaquah currently, but I lived in Bellevue for 8 years, and I've seen it grow a lot, which is fantastic. Like restaurants are popping up all over the place, left and right. We've got an influx of new people. A lot of tech companies are starting to pull bigger offices into downtown Bellevue, which is great. So
that's good. Yeah.
In general,
keep offices.
Totally. But in general, what I see is just more people, which I think the more people you get, the more people that are going to be in the outdoors, the more people that are going to be visiting on the flip side of that. And I think being able to see Tiger Mountain from downtown Bellevue, like, kind of encourages people to look up and say, whoa, what is that? Is that somebody flying around there? I want to go do that, right?
They just see the little like purple dot floating around.
Exactly.
It's gonna be me.
Exactly. If anything, it sparks curiosity, right? Is that a person in there? What are they doing? Like, why are they just floating? Why are they not going down? Do they have a motor? It just inspires people to start asking questions and want to learn more.
Absolutely. And I think Bellevue is all about inspiring curiosity as a whole. For someone visiting Bellevue who kind of wants the ultimate Pacific Northwest adventure day, what would your perfect itinerary be for them?
Ooh, there's so much. It's really hard to whittle it down to one day, because you really need to spend at least a week in this area at the minimum, I think, to get everything checked off your list. But,
I believe it.
But if I had to pick for one day, top of the list has to be coming for a paragliding flight with us at Northwest Paragliding. You can book a flight at nwparagliding.school. The next thing I'd say is exploring the mountains that are around Bellevue. So Snoqualmie Falls is insanely beautiful.
Gorgeous.
It's 20 minutes outside of Bellevue, and 100% need to visit that. It's gorgeous. Going up to the wineries at Woodinville, which is just outside of Bellevue, is amazing.
My language.
Yeah. You got to hit some lakes. So we have Lake Washington on one side of Bellevue, Lake Sammamish on the other side of Bellevue. We're kind of sandwiched in between two beautiful lakes for paddle boarding, swimming. I'd spend all of it outside personally for my perfect itinerary. Yeah. That for one day, that's a lot to pack in for one day. But like I said, you really need a week, and I could sit here for an hour listing things to do.
We might have to pick your brain later for some more itinerary options.
Deal.
Northwest Paragliding isn't just for tourists. You guys do a wide range of things, right? You have the tandem flights, solo flights, certification training. Do you guys happen to do anything for locals, hobbyists, or more importantly, corporate groups?
We do offer group group tandem flights. We have lots of companies that do team building activities with us. So, it's a really awesome afternoon to bring your team out, and you get to see people, in a little bit of a anxious, nervous state as they're ready to run off a mountain. And
I want to see Megan do it.
at the end of the flight, when everyone lands, everyone's extremely happy. They've shared this, moment together where they've, put themselves out of their comfort zone, and it really does help bring teams together. And so I love taking those groups because they always get a lot out of it and are usually very appreciative, love the experience, and it's a lot of fun for me as well. So,
and then one thing I wanted to ask, you mentioned that you guys do trips with people. To go out and experience paragliding. Do you guys also host people if they want to come into the area and do like an experience, whether it's like a certification course or do a bunch of flights back to back?
Yeah, we definitely help out with visiting pilots from both the U.S. and internationally. I was just actually working with a Swedish guy yesterday who's here for a week on a business trip, and he's a pilot, and he wanted to learn, and so he called me up and said, hey, can you show me around Tiger Mountain? Can I use your shuttle? And we said, of course, no problem. So he came out and flew with us and had a great time, and I love doing that kind of stuff because, especially for another pilot, I get to share how special this place is to them.
Absolutely.
And they're going to go back to their friends in Sweden and say, man, Tiger Mountain's awesome. You guys need to come back to Bellevue and go flying.
Oh, we'd love to hear that.
Yeah.
All right, so for all you pilots out there, if you're interested in that experience, please check the link below for more information. All right, so circling back to something we kind of talked about earlier, you mentioned sometimes your flights can go for quite some time, couple hours. I think your longest you mentioned was like 10 hours or something like that.
Yep.
So where do these flights take you, and how do you get back?
Pretty much where it takes us is usually downwind. We're pretty slow, so we're kind of getting blown with wherever the wind's taking us. But, based in Tiger Mountain, I've landed all over the place in this area. I've landed into the south in Enumclaw, to the north in Monroe,
Enumclaw?
Redmond, Marymore Park. I've landed kind of all over the place. And my primary way of getting back is hitchhiking, which sounds kind of weird, but most of us fly with this little fold-out sign that says "Pilot needs a ride."
That's
and
cute.
You'd be very surprised that the community around here is amazing. I pop that sign out. I usually have a ride within 20 to 30 minutes, and it's usually people being curious. Hey,
Absolutely.
What do you mean pilot needs a ride? Like, did you fall out of your plane? Did you have a malfunction? Yeah. Like,
where's the plane?
What is going on? Why do you need a ride? And that usually sparks discussion. And we usually, I meet a lot of amazingly friendly people around here, and we have a nice discussion as they're driving me back to Tiger Mountain. So,
which is incredible, and I think that's a testament to like Bellevue and the Pacific Northwest, like hospitality and how kind people are here.
Definitely.
Something that you really can't explain. You like really have to come and experience.
Yep.
That's crazy. I can't believe you flew all the way to Enumclaw. I was like, for y'all who don't know, like, that's a long flight. I was like, that must have been a good wind day.
Yeah, it was nice thermals. We're getting nice and high. So, like, the higher we can get, the better the day is. So, I think that day I was getting to 6,000 feet and cruising. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for being here today. It's been incredible to like have this discussion with you, and thank you so much again for taking me on that tandem flight. It was incredible. I felt like just like a baby bird flying for the first time, and I was like, oh my God.
Well, you're a great passenger, so thanks for coming.
So we took off. He was like, you got this. Just run off the cliff. And I was like, right. I just run off the cliff.
Trey did great. He really did.
Thank you. And thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Bellevue Bound. It was just an incredible thrill-seeking adventure, and I cannot wait for the next episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe for the next episode. Deuces.
This video was recorded and produced by Just Talk Studios, the premier video podcasting studio in Bellevue, Washington. Visit justtalkstudios.com to learn more and book your session today.